All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're going to talk about a massive shift happening in the accounting world. Basically, how CPA firms are being forced to completely re-architect their operations from the ground up. We're going to break down why the old ways of doing things are cracking under the pressure and uncover the new strategies that aren't just about surviving, they're about driving some serious growth.
You know, it often starts with just a feeling, right? A quiet shift you can't really point to on a spreadsheet, but you definitely feel it during those late-night reviews or in those tense team meetings. It's that nagging sense that even with an absolutely stellar team, the gears just aren't meshing like they used to.
And that feeling? It really just boils down to this one crucial question so many firm leaders are asking themselves. Why does everything feel so much harder all of a sudden? You've got an experienced, dedicated team, but it feels like everyone is constantly stretched to the breaking point. Well, the answer, as we're about to see, has absolutely nothing to do with working harder. And that gets us to the core of the modern CPA's dilemma. Let's be crystal clear about something. This is not a talent problem. Your team is probably fantastic. The real issue is that the very nature and the sheer volume of the work have completely, and I mean completely, changed the game. Okay, so here's where the rubber really meets the road. Tax reform used to be a once-in-a-while kind of thing. Now, it's a constant, non-stop stream of new laws, revised guidance, and shifting interpretations. The CPA's job has morphed from just preparing returns to being a full-time translator of incredible complexity for really anxious clients. And here's what that looks like in the real world. Every single one of these points represents a huge drain on your firm's most precious resource, your team's time and focus. The more time you're spending on research, on client handholding, on extra internal reviews, well, the less time you have for the high-value advisory work that actually grows the business. So, this all leads us to the real capacity problem. It's so tempting to think the solution is just more hustle, more hours. But the source material makes a really powerful point. The problem isn't the effort your team is putting in, it's the very structure they're working within. This slide just captures the disconnect perfectly. For decades, the playbook was simple, right? If you're busy, you hire more people. But the new reality is a totally different world. We've got a tight talent pool, super long onboarding times, and a relentless year-round workload. Simply adding more people to the payroll isn't just unsustainable, it's often not even possible anymore. And this brings us to a powerful, game-changing conclusion. That constant feeling of being stretched thin, it's not a sign of a weak team. It's a symptom of an outdated operational structure. And once you really grasp that, you can start looking for a completely different kind of solution. So that's where we get to the evolution of outsourcing. Now, we are not talking about the old model of just getting a temporary fix for tax season. We're talking about its transformation into a core, strategic advantage for the modern CPA firm.
You know, this slide maps out a journey so many firms go on. It usually starts with that tactical relief, just outsourcing some basic forms to survive April. But then comes the big aha moment. You realize the tax work is a year-round grind. And that's the realization that pushes smart firms towards step 3. A fully integrated strategy that gives them predictable, stable capacity all year long.
So what does this strategic integration actually look like? Well, the key phrases to focus on here are extending your tax department and integrating into your existing workflows. This is a world away from just, shipping tasks out the door. It's about building a bigger, more agile team that operates under your standards and your control. Okay, so how do you actually build this thing? It's all about creating what's called a hybrid team, a model that cleverly combines your core in-house expertise with dedicated external support. It really is the best of both worlds. Now, a huge piece of this new structure is leveraging the offshore talent advantage. And it's so important to understand this isn't just about saving a few bucks. It's about getting immediate access to trained U.S. tax professionals. It's about the incredible efficiency of the time zone advantage. I mean, work literally gets done while you sleep. And maybe most importantly, it's about the agility to scale your team up or down whenever you need to without all the risks that come with permanent hires. The ultimate goal here, the North Star, is to make this feel completely seamless. When you do it right, these offshore consultants don't feel like outsiders at all. They really do function as a true extension of your own team, fully plugged into your processes and committed to your standards of quality. And of course, technology is a critical piece of this puzzle. But, and this is a big but, it plays a supporting role. Tools like automation and natural language processing, or NLP, are amazing for slashing manual work and cutting down on errors, but they don't replace the irreplaceable,
the professional judgment of a CPA who has to interpret the rules, review the work, and give that strategic guidance to the client.
Okay, so we've re-engineered the engine. Now let's talk about the payoff. This is where the whole strategy really comes to life, not just in the wins for your firm, but in what your clients will actually see and feel.
This quote right here gets to the ultimate truth of it all. Your clients do not care about your internal org chart. They don't care where the work got done. They care about one thing and one thing only: outcomes. They want accurate, timely, and insightful service, period. This reframes the entire conversation around what really matters.
And when your firm finally has the capacity it needs, these are the kinds of outcomes your clients experience. They feel the difference. They get faster answers. They feel more confident because you're actually planning ahead for them. Your firm suddenly feels organized, responsive, and totally on top of its game. And for the firm itself, this is the grand prize. By offloading that heavy compliance burden and creating predictable capacity, your best people are finally free to focus on what they do best: high-value strategic advisory work. That is where real growth and unbreakable client loyalty are built. You know, this quote just says it all, doesn't it? In today's world, being resilient isn't about being the biggest. It's about being the most adaptable. The firms that are winning are the ones willing to rethink their old structures and build a new hybrid model that can handle today's pressures and seize tomorrow's opportunities.
So, we'll leave you with this one question to really think about. Take a hard look at your own operations, at your team's workload. Is your firm's structure built to solve the problems of the past, or is it truly engineered to capture the growth of the future? The answer to that could define your next decade.